Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to another edition of Ultra Confusion Thursday Night Hangout.
Thursday night here at Ultra Confusion, where we do the thing where we alter your gaming confusion, or so I'm told. And holy crap, your background changed.
Yes, it did. Thank you, Zealeus, for noticing. Ladies and gentlemen, I, of course, am your host, Charlie, and I'm joined once again by the prolific comer himself, Zealeus.
And you have a different set of cans.
Yes. So, Ultra Confusion.
Wireless cans.
So, Ultra Confusion's office space has been morphing or changing or, I guess, evolving. As I've gone more since my 9-to-5 job has become basically remote. I've basically been rearranging the entire office. So this is part of the new setup. It's not complete, but I kind of ran out of energy.
I honestly can't tell if your hat's backwards or if you have like a beanie type of cap on. It's
My hat's backwards. I'm trying not to show the logo.
Okay, that makes me feel a little bit better.
You're welcome.
A little.
Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, this, of course, is the Thursday Night Hangout. This is a weekly show where we try our best to cover the topics that are most important to you. Hopefully, during the show. If you, at any point in the show, have any topics that you'd like for us to cover, please drop them in the chat, and we'll try our best to cover them as soon as we can. If, by some unfortunate means, we are unable to cover the topic, we will add it to the list so we could start off with it this or next show. So,
yes.
So small recap: Ultra Confusion's office space, same place, just move stuff around. It's really hard to describe, but let's just say that I decided that a little bit of change and a little less claustrophobia. Yeah. Whatever. Yeah. It's going to be different. I'll show like progress pictures and stuff on Instagram. If you want to follow us on Instagram, it's Altered Confusion. All right. So I apparently opened the wrong document, which is a great start to the show, but knowing how things are going, yay! Okay. So the first topic tonight is the topic we were not able to cover last show, and that, of course, is franchises that basically cross medias, like a book to movie, or for Ultra Confusion, it's more video game to movie. So let's talk about a couple of. I pulled up a couple of these examples. Basically, someone asked, with Chris Pine being attached to an upcoming and on really with the not known about Dungeons and Dragons movie, how do you feel about this type of like a game into a movie? So Zealeus and I we kind of touched about this after the show last week, and that was the main one that comes to mind for me, or hell, the one person that comes to mind for me when it comes to video games going over to movies, and probably spectacularly horribly, is you, Bull. We're talking like Dungeon Siege, Blood Rain, all that jazz. So
I saw Blood Rain, but I never actually managed to see Dungeon Siege.
I would assume that you would have seen In the Name of the King.
Because I knew how bad it was. Even though it does have Jason Statham, I really should watch it. I just haven't.
Yeah. Oh my God.
I know.
Anyways, so maybe I had a little bit too much time on my hands for this, but I made a list of a couple of different games that made the the TV or movie jump. Of course, Dungeons and Dragons, with Chris Pine being pinned to a 2022 movie. There, of course, there's the Dungeons and Dragons movie from 2000, which was it was interesting. Then, of course, if I'm going to do Dungeons and Dragons, I have to do my research, and that is that there was actually a TV show from 1983 to 1985, which I actually own the DVDs for, which was actually really good. Sam Grizzle says, Mortal Kombat, Resident Evil, Mario Brothers. So the funny thing is, first of all, I think we've announced this before. There is going to be a new Mario movie, and Miyamoto is going to be a huge part of it. Like he's going to make sure. I think it's going to be CGI though. I don't think it's going to be live action. The funny thing about the live action Super Mario Brothers is that the writers did not want to make a Mario movie, and the lead actor, who I cannot remember his name off the top of my head, said it was the worst decision in his life to actually play Mario.
I can believe it because it was terrible.
It was absolutely terrible. But so we also talk about Dungeon Siege, which of course the movie is In the Name of the King, which released in 2007, and of course the first Dungeon Siege PC game was 2002. An interesting thing is that the Dungeon Siege movie actually wasn't too far off in plotline from the game, which I found. I was actually like, oh, that's interesting, because I would have figured, they probably fucked it up, because let's be honest, a lot of times when you get Hollywood, well, actually it's U-Bowl, so U-Bowl's probably like, well, we got to keep, close to the source material. But when Hollywood touches stuff, they're like, oh, we gotta make it more mainstream. We gotta make sure that everyone understands all the ins and outs, and we basically throw away all the stuff that the fans, the true hardcore fans, actually liked about the book series, the video games, whatever. It's like making. I'm trying to think of a game off the top of my head. Of course, let's say Cyberpunk 2077. I mean, that's in the news for the wrong reason, but is definitely in the news. Let's say that someone wants to make a Cyberpunk 2077 movie, but they want to Hollywoodize it. They basically like, okay, we're gonna have these people drive around like a San Francisco, like a futuristic San Francisco. We're gonna glue some metal bits to them, and they're gonna be cybernetic. We're gonna use a lot of CGI to do a bunch of like weird ass shit, and there's a love story and a betrayal, and let's not actually really give the vibe of the city. The city's just kind of there, and we'll make millions.
I'm a fan.
But yeah.
I think we should make that and copyright it right now before it's too late.
Yeah. But anyways, so one of the other, since I was doing my research, one of the other movies out there that are based on a game, this is more of a board game than anything, that of course is Battleship, which
I was thinking about that one.
Okay, so for my opinion about Battleship, or trying to make a movie about Battleship, or hell, about Dungeons and Dragons, or anything that's really, I don't know. The thing is, Dungeons and Dragons, there's a shit ton of stuff you could do with it, but you're better off with like Lord of the Rings if you want to go like the Dungeons and Dragons type route, because unless you actually go for one of those like right out of the box campaign storylines, every single movie that has dragons and wizards and bad monsters could technically be Dungeons and Dragons the movie.
Yeah, I could see that. Except for Dungeons and Dragons, it has that kind of specific feel to it. You don't really have a whole lot of actually mainstream movies with like magicians and thieves and warriors fighting like a necromancer or zombies. I mean, I know you got like Lord of the Rings, which is its own entity. I mean, Dungeons and Dragons is basically Lord of the Rings in RPG pen and pencil format. So I'd really say, ironically, Lord of the Rings is probably one of the closest to an actual Dungeons and Dragons campaign we actually have.
Right, that's what I'm saying though. Like that is probably the closest you're going to get. But you can't just vaguely say, "Oh, it's a Dungeons and Dragons movie." Okay, so where is it set? Because Dungeons and Dragons has a shit ton of different like worlds and continents and the races. And to be honest with you, if it's if it's any, they're like all these different races are so mainstream. I was like elves and dwarfs and half elves and whatever, gnomes and drows. Well, actually, it's an elf, but whatever.
It's the dark elf.
Sam brings up a good point. Clash of the Titans in his opinion, was probably the closest to Dungeons and Dragons. Which, yes, I agree, because you had mythological creatures battling a reluctant hero. But then again, that's basically the hero story. You have a reluctant hero that's thrust into the spotlight that has to defend the honor of some girl or save a kingdom or something. And they have to go on a journey.
Are we going to go journey into the woods reluctantly, even though I don't really want to, and it hurts me to think about it?
Yes, and you're going to find in yourself the true hero.
What if I have no hero within myself and it's all a lie?
Then we got problems.
Well, maybe that's the problem, that I don't realize it's a problem.
Well, that's the first step, sir, is to realize that there is a problem. But anyways, back to basically just grabbing a name and trying to make a movie out of it. Let's go back to Battleship, which, of course, for those of you who somehow have been sleeping under a rock forever, Battleship is basically a strategy game between two people that each one has either a pencil and paper grid or some kind of looks like a plastic laptop is the best way I could describe it. You open it up, it's got a grid on the top, it's got a grid on the bottom. You put your ships in a position without telling your opponent on the bottom grid, and then you try to guess where their ships are laid out on the top grid. And then, of course, the first one to sink all of the ships wins. Now, the Battleship the movie, 2012. The description of the movie is as follows. A fleet of ships is forced to do battle with an armada of unknown origins in order to discover and thwart their destructive goals.
That sounds pretty exciting to me.
That's not, why did you have to, the thing is, why did you have to put Battleship on there? You could just put sci-fi alien ship versus alien armada.
So, Independence Day?
Yeah, but on water.
Ooh, isn't that like Pacific Rim then?
Yeah, but without the giant robots. Without the kaiju or the, oh shit, what were those robots called?
You just keep on killing all my hopes and dreams.
I know. Sam goes, very loosely considered strategy, more like process of elimination, dumb luck. Yes, I agree. There is, I would say it's more of an art to the guessing. Know thy opponent, and you will find their ships faster than they can find yours.
That's super deep, sir.
Indubitably. All right, so another video game that became a movie is the series Rampage. Now, of course, I played Rampage in the arcades. I don't think I may have owned a copy of Rampage on maybe PC or something, but basically
it was an arcade game.
Yeah. Oh yeah. God. Yeah. It was an arcade game. So you had the original arcade game came out in 1986. It had three different characters. You had George, a King Kong-like gorilla transformed from human form by a experimental vitamin. Then you had Lizzie, a dinosaur/lizard transformed by a radioactive lake. And then finally you had Ralph, a giant werewolf transformed by a food additive.
That sounds weird.
Okay. Now, there was a movie released in 2018 that starred The Rock. So right off, you got some bonus points. The plot line is, when three different animals become infected with a dangerous pathogen, a primatologist and a genetics team up to stop them from destroying Chicago.
That sounds... Wait, it sounds like another movie other than Rampage, like Skyscraper. What was it? I think it was in a movie called Skyscraper, which you just described.
He was in a movie called Skyscraper, where he was he and his family are trapped in this humongous skyscraper. It was 4 times the height of the Empire State Building, and shit goes wrong.
Okay.
That sounds like Skyscraper.
All right. I get these crazy convoluted action flicks mixed up all the time.
The funny thing is, and I try to look this up and I can't find it, but once upon a time there was an attempt to make an asteroids movie. And the premise of the movie, which of course has now been wiped from the internet, which maybe I just dreamt up, but I swear that the premise of the movie was you had two brothers who were asteroid farmers trying desperately to get back home. And I'm like, I did not get that when I was playing Asteroids in the arcade way back when.
That's deep.
It's very deep. So, I mean, Zealeus, can you think of any, or ladies and gentlemen of the crowd, can you think of any other crossovers from like movie to video games, or hell, books to video games that may have that?
Wasn't there? What didn't King of Fighters come out with one that like nobody actually saw?
Okay, so there was a DOA, Dead on Arrival, which is another fighter game, and you have, of course, you have all your Mortal Kombats. But the thing about at least the first Mortal Kombat was the fact that it actually truly stayed as close to source material as I've ever seen. It's a fighting game. So what's the premise of the thing? They're fighting to save the world. And you got a bunch of characters. Hell, you even got the Mortal Kombat song going in the background that once you start listening to it, you can't get out of your head. I'm not even going to talk about Street Fighter. That one, apparently, the first one was not good, but apparently the following one was just worse.
Well, the first one was at least cheesy entertaining. Like, it had that certain charm about it with Jean-Claude Van Damme doing, Jean-Claude thing. What's his name? The bad guy, Bison, was actually entertaining.
It's Raul. What's his first name? He was Gomez Addams in the original Addams Family movie franchise.
Well, he was actually basically dying during the movie.
Yeah, he died. I think he died before the movie was released.
Yeah, it was like his last kind of gift to his family. Like, that's kind of why he did it, was for his kids.
You know, the funny thing is,
so for him, it was a big deal.
The funny thing and the truly sad thing about the fact that he died, I think right at the end or just after the movie was wrapped up, was that spoiler alert, but M. Bison almost dies in the movie, and then he has basically this like restart electroshock that starts his heart again. So you're like, oh man, if only the actual actor had that. Damn it. But yeah, I mean, in my honest opinion, if you're going to Hollywoodize anything, you're going to lose the magic of what the game, the force of what the game is. Hell, you don't even have to go over genres. I mean, the one that I always harp about, because it's the same franchise, there was 3 PlayStation 3 games. Dead Space 2, and Dead Space 3. The first 2 are actions, like horror games. They were spooky as hell. I really liked them. They were tough. They were, of course, plenty of surprises and secrets. And I was like, all right. And, the first one was good. The second one was good. Then the third one was like, you know what? We want to be more appealing to the gamer marketplace. So they just made like an action game. And sure, they slapped horror on there, but they basically left all the lights on. Like the whole thing about like a horror movie is, poor lighting, where shit comes out at you, from all angles, out of the shadows. There were no shadows in 3. It was just, this generic like cookie cutter shooter game. And they're like, gee, I don't understand why people don't like that one. They love the first 2. But then again, I have the same thought process behind of course I'm going to date myself again, but there was a series of games called Lord of the Realms.
Oh, yes, those were good games.
Zealeus and I, we played a shit ton of Lord of the Realms. Lord of the Realms 1, in my opinion, was by far the best. The second one, they took away the ability to build your own castle, which really pissed me off, because I love conquering a bunch of places and then building this weird-ass janky castle that no one's going to defeat. And then in the third one, they gave you the build your own castle feature back, but there were no like custom maps. So there's itty bitty little maps, and they took away like all the micromanagement that I actually enjoyed. And to be totally honest with you, there's not a lot of games where I enjoy the micromanagement. But I had to take care of my sheep's wool, damn it, and my grain.
No, the first one was very fun and entertaining, and I definitely know I enjoyed it. It was a good micro management game.
Yeah. I you had, of course, Lord of the Realms, and then basically in the same vein, one of the other games that Zealeus and I really enjoyed, Masters of Magic.
Oh, the classic. Which didn't you play like the Steam version?
Yeah. Yes.
That was basically updated.
And the correction patch to break some of the brokenness of the game, and I'm just like, no, I can no longer OP. Which, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, for those out who don't know, OP it means overpowered.
Did you actually OP the game? Did you figure it out?
Not with that new patch on, I didn't. But you can toggle it off if you want to. If you toggle it off, good memories. Good memories.
No, it was a good game. I definitely enjoyed that.
But yeah, every single time I hear that there's going to be a film adaptation or a TV adaptation of an existing property that is not film or TV, I have to hold my breath. Because chances are they're going to screw a bunch of stuff up, or just basically the thing is going to be, by name alone. There's not going to be any other pieces to it.
What about Civilization, the PC, or Civilization, the movie?
Isn't that like basically any war conquering movie?
What about the part where it's just about discovery of the early sciences, where I learned writing and the alphabet and ironworking? That's the part of Civilization I care about.
More power to you, brother.
So you're saying no, not a movie?
Probably not. But you never know. I mean, could be. I mean, I'm sure if there's money to be made, there's a movie. Sorry. If it's thought that something can make money, they'll make a movie about it.
Well, this way, I never thought you were going to have Battleship the movie.
True.
That's what you see, Battleship the movie. I'm like, well, if they can do that, then they can do anything else.
Well, for that, it's like name recognition. That's why I said it's name. It's in name only.
Yeah.
Yes, we put it on the water, and the Americans have a battleship that's to blow up an alien armada. Even though the game always had identical ships on both sides, but it's aliens, damn it.
I don't even know what aliens are anymore because they're so weird.
And well, yeah, so normalized now. Okay, so I want to change pace, and a bit of sad news broke this past week on January the 5th. One of the best pro Tetris players, Jonas Neubauer, died at the age of 39. The exact details they never go into, but he basically posted on social media that he had a sudden medical emergency, and then 4 days later, I believe his wife was the one who jumped back on the Twitter account and said it's with a heavy heart that we deliver the terrible news that Jonas has passed away from a sudden medical emergency. He was the absolute best. We are devastated, overwhelmed with grief, and we already miss him dearly. Information to follow when it becomes available. Now, the reason why I bring this up is that there is a GoFundMe, which somehow the link just disappeared, but I will find it, for the expenses. Now, I don't know if it's actually still going or not, but I do want to just post it in the chat. I actually watched a couple of, I think it was during one of those, oh, Sam. Touche. I think it was during one of those whatchamacallits, um, like ESPN the Ocho deals when they showed like the Tetris World Championship. But the man had skill, and apparently he had quite the wit. And he, for those of you who are not into Tetris, he was also a big part of a microbrewery where he lived. So he was also helped make beer. So that's a killer combo. Just saying. Oh, maybe bad choice of words. But anyways, it's always sad to see a public figure, especially in the gaming, space, that actually is a recognizable name to some, or maybe it's bigger popularity or bigger star power than other people out there. So sad.
Yeah, I mean, I remember playing Tetris back in the old Game Boy, where it was just literally you versus the speed of which you could move the Tetraminos.
Yeah,
There was
buddy.
no like battle raging or anything else, unless you're one of the few that had the hookup wire. You could actually play again, right there against somebody else in Tetris.
Yes.
And I remember on the bus, we would play Tetris against each other on the bus back in like grade school, because I was one of the few people who had a cable for that.
Mm-hmm. Ah, memories.
And now I'm trying to help my students create Tetris, and it's really hard.
Yes. I personally, if I were a teacher, I would not be trying to get them to do Tetris. I would go the route of Space Invaders.
We've already done Space Invaders.
Well, aren't you special? That was my final project for like a workshop I did, and also my final project for high school. Which, by the way, I if you follow me on Instagram, or you follow All Too Confusion on Instagram, I actually posted the top sheet of my Space Invaders Visual Basic Plus code sheet.
Nice.
Yeah. All right. So next topic. I did not know this was a thing. To be totally honest with you. First of all, I really never got into the Minecraft craze, but I had no idea that Minecraft Earth was a thing. And unfortunately, it won't be a thing for much longer. So a little over a year ago, Minecraft Earth was released by Microsoft. Microsoft, to be even more technical, it was the developer studio Mahjong Studios, who's owned by Microsoft because they got bought out, and it's going the whole what do you call it? Augmented reality experience is going to go bye-bye. One of the main reasons, and I know this is going to come as a shock to everyone, is the fact that the coronavirus basically did this game in. See, the thing is, it was designed around free movement and collaborative play, which those two things you can't do during the pandemic. Or you could, but chances are it was highly frowned upon unless you live in the United States and are in certain cities, which are now in complete lockdown. But that's besides the point.
Or we just freely go wherever we want here in Georgia.
Yeah. Anywho, so basically, the vast majority of the world actually, wants to not get sick. And so the vast majority of the fan base were not able to freely move about and also do collaborative play. Now, there were attempts by Mahjong to try to, kind of tweak the game so that the experience, you could still have some sort of experience, but unfortunately it lost a lot of the allure, because you go to different places and different stuff would happen, but now you're there's only so much you could do depending on your residence. Some people like Zealeus may only have the ability to adventure into like a kitchen, a living room, a bathroom, and a bedroom, and a porch. Other people don't even have that.
Crucial.
Of course. But for those out there who are playing Minecraft Earth, the entire experience will completely go June 30th. And just so that there's no last minute, what do you call it, hanger-ons, because once upon a time, actually it's not once upon a time, but many times when companies have said, hey, we're going to shut down this server, there have been attempts by the gaming community to see how long they could last on the server before they get kicked off.
Of course.
The Halo 2 was one of them. The Matrix Online. Though the Matrix Online did have some fun, like end of the world / game parties basically happening. But I guess to make this a little bit faster, and also it's not really an online, it's augmented reality. It's nothing you can, it's not like an online world. It is, but it isn't. Okay, anyways, June 30th is when it's going to cut off. Microsoft will delete all player data on July the 1st. So it's not like you can stick around. Now, I know that with any game, there's always going to be microtransactions. So you're going to have a lot of people out there going, well, I spent money on the game. What the hell? Yep. If you spent any money at any point, which has only been in the past year, so within, the past year, you will, I'm not exactly sure if I like this or not, you will get a token that will allow you to download the Bedrock version or Bedrock edition of Minecraft to your mobile device.
Ooh. Is that a paid version of Minecraft?
I have no idea. Ladies and gentlemen, Zealeus is going to look it up. Find out what the Bedrock...
No.
But I don't... It'd be like, oh, well, we're going to shut down this game that you spent a lot of money on. And I mean, it's better than nothing. But at the same time, it's in-store credit. That's really what it is.
It's $6.99. And let's be honest, anyone who's probably playing this already has purchased the game on the App Store and just...
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, unlock an exclusive skin for those who tried out Minecraft Earth, which probably already happened because companies love to do cross-platform stuff. Or, not cross-platform, but cross-promotions. Case in point, I played Zelda Breath of the Wild, and now I'm playing Zelda Warriors of Calamity. And because I had a Breath of the Wild save, I gained an exclusive item for Warriors of Calamity. So it's kind of like that, I would assume. Speaking of games and futures, it has been announced, it's kind of been rumored, but now it's getting a little bit closer to being a real thing, hopefully. Knowing this wonderful world that we live in, video games get postponed to infinity and beyond. The remastering of the Mass Effect franchise, the 1, 2, and 3, not Andromeda. Mass Effect Legendary Edition is set to release sometime in spring 2021. There are a couple of retailers in Singapore and Indonesia that have the date set for March the 12th. Now, if you go to some place like Amazon, Amazon will say that it will be released December 31st, 2021, because they don't have a release date, so they basically just chose the end of the year. But the coming spring 2021 is actually from the Mass Effect official website through BioWare. Now, of course, shit could change, but here's hoping. BioWare has basically said they're updating the textures, shaders, models, effects, and technical features for PC, PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and it will also have forward compatibility and targeted enhancements on Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5.
I am curious to see what is it actually better Meaning like what do they actually do to help improve the game, or is it just kind of somewhat better graphics?
All Mako all the time.
Because you could already skin the game with better graphics, kind of HD graphics on the PC at least. I know not on the console. So there's already options to kind of give yourselves better graphics using mods. So that's kind of what I'll be curious of to see is how do these mods, how is this imaging better? And did they also change the story at all? Because that was one of the best parts, was the storyline and the interaction and all that good stuff. So that's what I'd be really curious to see is it really just an HD upgrade? How much of an HD upgrade is it? And what happens with the story?
Okay.
And combat for that matter. Because remember, each of the 3 games has a different combat style too, in terms of how the ammo works, how upgrade works, how all that stuff. Are you going to keep those all different?
I'm very confused. Are you sure you played Mass Effect 1, 2, and 3? Because the core mechanics stayed the same, except that they got rid of the Mako, which, by the way, Zealeus, they're going to have the Mako as the main feature of all the games. All you got to do is just drive the effing Mako everywhere.
But things like how ammo work changed, because you used to have the overheat and then you actually had ammo. So
you
like
still do. You still did, Zealeus. I think you're confusing 2 different games.
No,
because those mechanics stayed the same.
No, one of the Mass Effects, you didn't have ammo, you had just overheating. And then it changed to ammo ready to pick up clips. It was 2 different ammo mechanisms.
It's called 2 different guns.
No, it was completely different mechanisms.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we'll go to the polls.
I'm pretty sure, I don't remember which ones, but I'm pretty sure it completely changed how the
ammo
mechanism worked.
I have a funny feeling that because you played Andromeda, that was between Mass Effect the first and Andromeda. But I could be wrong. I don't know. It's been a while since I played it. The one thing I am curious about is the fact that the one thing I didn't like about Mass Effect 3 was the emphasis of having to do the online play. How is that going to work into this reworking of the system? The graphic wise, from my understanding, everything's going to be pushed to 4K.
Puts it 4K at 144 kilohertz of epic eye candy.
Sure. Yeah. If that's what it takes for you to buy the product. Mm-hmm.
I'm always entertained when you go to like the game forums. Like it's never enough. It's like now that there's like 4K for like if you even have 4K TV in the first place, it's like, well, it's 4K, but is it also 144 hertz? I don't think unless it's 144 hertz, it's really worth getting. And it's like, really? Like I've just always amused how there's always those people who are like, it's never enough.
Look, man, if you're running at full tilt, it blurs a little bit. I'm out, man.
I saw that 1 pixel that was like 1 hue off. Not good enough, sir. Nope, sir.
Just that 1 pixel. There was no collision issues or clipping issues or any weird shit. It's that 1 pixel out of the 4,000. This bugs me. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into friends of the show. As we do every single show, we give a shout out and some love and support to those who support us. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, let's start off with the Indie Cluster. Oop, come on, click. The Indie Cluster is an organization of independent game developers that want to gain exposure by being involved in the community. They collectively journey to popular conferences as a traveling booth to help gain attention for their games. They make partnerships in local communities to bring games to the mainstream mindset. They highlight local, unusual, and rare concepts to challenge the paradigm of the common. They also host events to teach kids and minority groups about game development to hopefully one day enter the industry themselves. For more information, go to indiecluster.com. Now, of course, the next shout out has to be for the amazing chiropractor that I use and my son uses. And if you're in the greater Atlanta area, you should use too. And that, of course, is Hero Chiropractic. Hero Chiropractic is a unique healthcare practice set up by Ryan Moore. The company is focused to elevate a patient's experience of freedom, creative expression, and joy. They believe that everyone can be a hero and has incredible heroic potential inside themselves waiting to be unleashed. Hero Chiropractic focuses on mobile chiropractic care in the greater Atlanta area. They are committed to healing clients by creating a plan of action uniquely suited for each person. They make that plan of action as convenient and affordable as possible, and most importantly, suited to your individual needs. For more information, go to www.herochiropractic.com. Now, of course, we are in this pandemic thing, and I do want to say up front that, yes, you heard right. It is a mobile chiropractic care, but Ryan is one of the most diligent people about disinfecting all of his stuff, his chiropractic chair, table, and all that stuff. So he takes that into consideration. He also will try to make sure that he wants to protect you as best as possible. So he'll work with you to whatever you need to do. Ladies and gentlemen, the next thing we got to do for a shout out is for our friend, the awesomeness that is Nerdburger, and that, of course, is Nerdburger Games. Nerdburger Games is the game design imprint of award-winning RPG designer Craig Campbell. Craig has done a whole bunch of RPG design freelancing in the past. Several years ago, he dove into designing his own RPG. Now, Nerdburger Games has multiple RPGs and is showing no signs of stopping. Nerdburger Games endeavors to create games that explore corners of the RPG landscape that haven't been explored, or haven't been explored very often. These games forego dense gaming mechanics in favor of lighter rule sets that allow players to focus on telling fun, engaging, memorable stories. For more information, go to www.nerdburgergames.com. Zealeus and I can both go on record and say that almost the entire library that Nerdburger Games has, we have either tested or own or played. There is a new one whose Kickstarter has wrapped up, and they're in the process of trying to make it a real thing now. That, of course, is Good Strong Hands, but some of the other titles are Capers, Die Laughing, and Merge and Acquisitions, which Merge and Acquisitions was how we got to know Craig, and then we knew that this guy had something.
Yes,
awesome.
Yes, he does.
So, ladies and gentlemen, the last thing we have to do is we want to give a shout out to our local watering hole. It is very important for them to keep their doors open because we love this place. That, of course, is Battle and Brew. Battle and Brew is Atlanta's first and oldest gaming bar and restaurant. Opened in 2005, Battle and Brew had a very modest menu, a few beer taps, and focused heavily on gaming. Now, they have grown to encompass so much more. They pioneered geek trivia in Atlanta and remain the hardest trivia in town. They have upgraded the menu from only a few items to all your bar favorites, and some soon-to-be favorites. They've expanded the gaming and kept everything top of the line. They've taken a good place and made it a great place. A place where the staff listens to your desires and suggestions. A place where you and your friends feel like you're at home. A place where everyone knows your game. If you're in the Atlanta area, you need to check this out. For more information, go to www.battleandbrew.com, all one word. They do geek trivia every Wednesday night, and they have now opened up a brunch option on Saturdays and Sundays. And as I stated in a previous episode of the Thursday Night Hangout, I am going to find a way to get one of those brunch sandwiches because, gosh darn it, I deserve it.
I just want a plate of bacon.
That works too.
Just give me good, yummy bacon. That's all I want in life.
Now, of course, ladies and gentlemen, after doing a shout out for the friends of the show, let's do a couple of personal shout outs for Ultra Confusion. The first one is, ladies and gentlemen, as many of you know, Ultra Confusion is a huge supporter of something called Extra Life. We are proud to say that we have been fundraising for Extra Life for 10 years straight. Extra Life is gamers doing what they do best, gaming, to help sick and injured children at their chosen Children's Miracle Network hospital. The money that we raise through Extra Life will go directly to our hospital, which of course is Children's Healthcare of Atlanta, as unrestricted funds. This means that the hospital decides where and how to spend the money to ensure the dollars you raise make the biggest impact in the lives of the kids they treat. So if you have the ability to donate, please go and donate to our cause. If you You can either click on the link in the chat if you're on Twitch. If you're not on Twitch, I don't think searching for Alter Confusion works yet. So just look for, I was going to say, the participant ID is 450208. Thank you. I just completed brain fart. That's the fastest way. That's good. Just do that. You'll get to the page. We're currently, I think the goal is currently set at 250. Alter Confusion slush fund. We're about to get into that one, Sam.
Ladies, slush fund? Where's my slush fund?
Yeah.
Wait, what? I'm Sam, you're getting my hopes up here.
So, ladies and gentlemen, Alter Confusion has something called Patreon. Patreon allows for the following. Alter Confusion survives on the love and support of fans like you. And so we have a Patreon page. Patreon lets you, the fans, supporters, become active participants in the work we love through a monthly membership. This gives you access to exclusive content, community, and insight into our creative process. In exchange, we gain a bit more freedom to do our best work and the stability we need to build an even stronger creative career. So, currently, we have 2 levels on Patreon. There's a $1 level and a $5 level. For those of you out there who are wondering, okay, so you want me to support, how much it's going to cost me a year? For the $1 level, it's going to cost you $12 a year. It's going to be, you're going to be charged $1 at the end of each month. And because you are providing us with that $1 a month, you'll gain access to early access to the playthroughs that I record and post, and you also gain the ability to basically take part in polls, Alter Confusion exclusive polls, and of course you also gain the ability to have voice chat on Discord. I've been trying my damnedest to make Discord more open to the public. So if you're looking to join our Discord channel and you have not, I know that one of the fun ways to do it is the ! Discord, but for some reason, sometimes when you're doing it on Twitch, it doesn't actually show up in the chat. And so if you go to twitch.tv /Alter Confusion, in the panel, the About panel below the video, there is a Discord button that you can push, and that's an automatic invite, or you could go to www.alteredconfusion.com. It's in one of the panels, there's a button that says join the chat. And then Zealeus has posted a link as well in the chat. Okay, so if you do the $5 level, which means that you're going to give, or you are donating or supporting Alter Confusion for $60 a year, that will not only give you all the dollar benefits, but it will also gain you name or organization recognition in the Friends of the Show segment of the Thursday Night Hangout. Now, as I've stated many, many times before, and I know I'm hyping this up and I haven't really ironed out all the kinks, but I do want to put one more higher level and have something with either like a guest streamer appearance. I think that's what we're really going for, is maybe, stream with me on one of my nights, or perhaps Zealeus, you can't be a guest because you're the co-host.
So does that mean I should get the Patreon money because I'm already on here as a co-host guest?
No, you're not a guest.
It's like an inverse correlation property.
God dang it, Zealeus. Anyways.
I gotta feed my cat, man. She's starving over here.
I think your job does that well enough, sir. Anyway, so ladies and gentlemen, if you can spare $1 or $12 a year or $5 or $60 a year, please help support Alter Confusion so that we can keep our equipment up to date, so that we, once this weird ass world goes back to close to normalcy, we can start attending conventions again. And of course, we would love to do conventions because we love you guys. Now, if you want to give us, if you want to do a donation to Alter Confusion, but you only want to do a one-time donation, there is a PayPal option. If you're on Twitch or on our website, www.alterconfusion.com. There's a donate now button that goes straight to our PayPal. Of course, it's a one-time thing. If you do not have the ability to do financial support for Alter Confusion, in everything that you do, please help us support Alter Confusion by favoring, reposting, liking, adding your voice to everything that's Alter Confusion, be it Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, Discord, Instagram. By doing that, we can make an even better community.
All the communities, man. So many communities.
Now, I know that a lot of people out there are curious about my next trip to the post office, and I'm going to go tomorrow. I don't know how long I'm going to wait. I don't know how long I'm going to wait in line, but I'm going to go tomorrow. For those of you out there who want to send a physical gift to Alter Confusion that I can do an unboxing video of, all you got to do is send it to 1551 Dunwoody Village Parkway. This is super duper important. This is the P.O. Box number. You don't put this on there, it don't go nowhere. Number 88276. Dunwoody, once again, Dunwoody, Georgia, 30338. I know that I at least have one, maybe two packages waiting for me, and maybe more. But I will be doing quite a few unboxing videos, I feel, in the very near future. Possibly tomorrow, if I can find some downtime. It is very difficult when you have a child who's doing virtual learning.
Mm-hmm.
Now, with that all out of the way, ladies and gentlemen, I believe we had one more story. Yes. So what was that? So some of you may have heard this already, but there apparently have been talks between Chris Evans, Captain America, wanting potentially to come back to the MCU. Basically, regaining the role of Captain America, which a lot of people had theorized that since Chris Evans' contract is over, Captain America was going to become, or Falcon was going to become Captain America, or Bucky was going to become Captain America.
I like Bucky.
Well, to be honest with you, a lot of people thought, oh shit, are we still in spoilers for the end of Infinity Wars?
I think we're stating that there could be potential spoilers at this point. I would say no, that I think we are past that point. So I am
okay. There was a twist with who basically dons the shield.
Yep.
For Captain America. Actually, how the fuck is that going to work? Watch all of Infinity War, then you'll understand why my brain is going, I don't know. But okay, with that being said, there is another bit of news that came out that said that Deadpool is going to become, it's going to officially become part of the MCU. But Deadpool 3 is going to be allowed, and this is weird, but it's going to be allowed to stay as an R-rated movie.
Oh, hallelujah.
See, for some reason out there, people view that in order for it to be successful, it has to be PG-13, open to the vast majority of audience members. But Deadpool has proven that wrong twice. And wasn't Logan? I know that Logan wasn't part of the MCU, but wasn't Logan rated R?
I think so, but I also think part of the skepticism around Deadpool 3 and its rating was more so because of the mouse now owning it. And
that's true.
The parent mouse want to be associated with a rated R movie. I think that was the bigger question, honestly, was would Disney basically allow a rated R movie when they were now the rights owners? I think that's what everyone, myself included, was cynical about, was would that happen? And thankfully they seem to have seen the light. Because the thing is like, yes, Deadpool is obviously rated R 1 and 2, but it's, and deservedly so, but it's not like in a nonsensical way that doesn't work. Like, it's totally appropriate to the Deadpool. It's not like random gratuitous like sex and boobs flying and other gratuitous rated R things,
Right.
it makes total sense in the context of Deadpool. So I think for me, it makes sense. I mean, obviously it makes sense because it worked for Deadpool 1 and 2. But thankfully, Disney has seen the vision to keep it rated R, with Mr. Ryan Reynolds continuing to hurling reign over the Deadpool.
Yes. Now, I know that this news is old, but remember that whenever Deadpool 3 comes out, there's one of the characters, one of the, I guess, main character-esques of the first two will not be in Deadpool 3, and that is TJ Miller's character, the bar owner. He is out.
I would love to see like a random, like I would love to see like for Chris Evans, that's where like his contract is for, is to be in Deadpool 3.
That would be cool. That would
Like,
be
like a totally different role. I mean, obviously still Captain America, but a very different feel to it. I should put it that way.
well. It'd have to be before Infinity Wars.
Well, you never know. Maybe it's an old man version.
Oh, spoilers. Anyways,
I mean, we all grow old at some point.
true. I could the question that that I have is if this does work out as well as the previous Deadpools, does that potentially open up more MCU property to maybe have an R rated? Now, I'm not saying the next Avengers is going to be rated R, but other Marvel franchises that are more on the, I guess, the edge of like the Avengers universe could,
Well, I guess so. Here's a good question then. I mean, I think to that point is what other movies, what other enterprises in the MCU world make sense to have a rated R movie? Like, it doesn't make sense to have a rated R movie just for the sake of being R. Like, Logan made sense to be rated R.
agreed.
With how the movie worked. It was beautifully done. Again, nothing gratuitous, nothing like over the top, but it was perfect to be rated R. Same with Deadpool. So I guess what in the MCU would actually benefit from being rated R and not just doing it really for shock? I guess what would not be doing it for shock value? That's the question. Because that doesn't make sense for MCU. They don't need it. If anything, DC Universe go all in on freaking rated R and just blow the tops off and see what the hell happens, because you can't do any worse.
Didn't Warner Brothers announce that they're going to try to create to expand the DC universe on I don't know if it was through movies or TV shows?
Well, they already have for the freaking CW for Arrowverse.
Yeah.
I know it doesn't really count because that's like the minor characters, but whatever.
But still,
yeah, I mean, DC's just. I think the problem is when they go in with this mindset of trying to create a universe without already having characters who we like. That's the issue. It's the same thing with Tom Cruise and them. They tried doing like the monster universe. It's like you already have like the thing is the Marvel movies, they all, well, most of them all work on their own. Yes, we all know they're part of the larger MCU, but really, you could basically pop in and watch any of the 23. I'm leaving Endgame out of this for the obvious reasons, but you could really pop in and watch any of the MCU movies and be just fine. Where it's it's almost like True Bloods or SVU or NCS, one of those. They all come together like the 23 episodes where you can watch them all. It helps to watch them all in order.
right.
And at the very end, oh, holy crap, 2-episode culmination. This is awesome. Whereas they're trying to make it into like this year, like DC and the one with Tom Cruise, the months one, they're trying to make it into this like serialized where every movie has to do with the other movie. And
well, okay. What Tom, are you talking about? The Mummy?
Yeah.
Okay.
They tried like doing, I forgot what they had a name for it. But that was the whole purpose of the Mummy, was to turn it into another MCU type of universe of monsters. Obviously that didn't work.
No.
But that's the thing, though, that Marvel did well is all their movies work on their own and they're all enjoyable. Even the worst of the Marvel movies are still enjoyable to watch, I think.
Right.
Whereas when DC does it, they just suck.
Okay, so off the top of my head, I was thinking about two potential Marvel comic franchises within the MCU that I think would actually benefit with an R rating. The first one, they already screwed the pooch on this one. That was Venom. I think Venom would have been amazing as an R-rated movie, but they got cold feet and decided to dumb it down. The other one,
I actually see Venom, because Venom, I never saw it. I heard it wasn't that good.
right? I heard that it wasn't that good, and one of the main complaints that I kept hearing was, it would have been really good if they had allowed it to be rated R.
Well, question though.
Yep.
Venom though, was that a Marvel production or is that a Sony production?
I'm going to say Sony because I think they own Spider-Man, right?
Yeah, so I think it's still Sony, which, it goes back to part of the issue, I think. Anyways, you're saying for your second option.
The second one, and first of all, you have to recast the title role here, but I think if for some reason, Fantastic Four has been given so many effing chances. And I think that there is another franchise out there that deserves one more chance, and that is Ghost Rider. That would be a good R-rated franchise. Probably not Nick Cage Ghost Rider, but Ghost Rider.
Current incarnation actually strikes me could work for rated R?
What?
Is Guardians of the Galaxy. Like, totally go over the top. I could see that being rated R.
Yeah, well, the problem...
It doesn't need to.
No. I think because we've already got 2 PG-13 movies, for me, it would be kind of hard to do that. But, like, The Punisher.
Ooh, yes.
That screams rated R. Was the one with John Travolta, was that rated R or was that 13?
That's actually one of my favorite movies. I love it. Yep. That is a great movie.
But was it rated R or was it PG-13?
I'm looking that up now.
Okay. Because that, yeah. I would be all for that. And to be honest with you, if there's going to be a spin-off like group movie, kind of like the Avengers, but Deadpool style, it's X Factor, and of course they kind of alluded to that in Deadpool 2, but that would definitely be another radar franchise.
Random fact, The Punisher from 2004 is a part of Earth 58732.
Oh, Christ.
I guess it's not part of the official Marvel world, obviously.
So that's what drives me nuts. It's like, oh yeah, this is actually Earth B5. I'm like, okay. I'm not that big of a nerd.
It's rated R due to sex and nudity 7 times, gore and violence 19 times, and profanity twice, apparently.
Oh, perish the thought. Profanity? How dare they? Speaking of profanity, if you haven't already, I highly recommend to you people out there, if you Netflix and chill, you need to check out History of Swear Words. That's actually been really enjoyable for me. Nicolas Cage basically being the narrator, the host of the History of Swear Words.
I've definitely not seen it.
It is funny as hell.
Interesting.
It is funny as hell. Yeah.
Well, it sounds like it would really be Samuel L. Jackson. I'm just saying.
So they brought up who has said the F word the most.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, Nicolas Cage is jokingly saying, well, of course it's me. I'm one of the top guys. And everyone guessed Samuel L. Jackson. That's not the correct answer.
Oh. Who is it?
It's someone you would never expect. Jonah Hill.
Huh. Interesting.
It's because of one of his movies he's spouted like 114 times.
Nice.
It's like astronomical. Did you say any other words in the movie?
That was his, anytime he had a line, he didn't even read it. He was just like, fuck it.
Yep. But anyways, definitely highly recommend that. And since I'm doing recommendations, especially on Netflix, there is another show, thankfully, to help individuals who do not do subtitles. It is dubbed. It is a French TV series called Lupin, Lupin. There's actually an anime named Lupin. Just a different pronunciation. It's the same kind of character. It's about basically it's around a fictitious like gentleman thief character. But this one, Lupin, the French one, sit around a gentleman who is trying to right the wrongs of what happened to him in the past. And it is really good. And the first section of it is because they've only released the first part, is phenomenal. And I had that, and the moment that producers and writers want you to have when you're watching a show or a movie is you have a son of a bitch, I need more. And they got it from me. So if you have the ability to do so, I'd highly recommend, if you got Netflix, definitely check out Lupin or Lupin, whatever you want to call it. It is phenomenal. To show you that it definitely crosses generations, I told my mom, who was on a cross-continental flight today, I was like, look, I know that when you go on flights, you like to download some Netflix shows so you can, have stuff to do while you're in the air. I said, download this, watch it. She's French, so she probably listened to the actual French sound thing, or maybe she watched the English. I don't know. But I get a text message from her when she lands. She goes, "Oh my God, it's so amazing! Please tell me there's more." I'm like, apparently it might be more. But anyways, God bless the French. Sure.
Well, of course, Netflix, you never quite know if they're going to actually you've had one season that's good enough for you, sir.
No, but this one's more like BBC style. Like they spat out, I think it's like 5 episodes, but they're like 45 minutes long or something like that. And from my understanding, if I read it correctly, there's going to be another, I guess bulk release, January the 21st. I hope. I cross my fingers because I have to know more. But seriously, check it out. Oh my gosh, I just blanked. Sorry. Ladies and gentlemen, I might be all over the place tonight. It has been a very long week with rearranging the office. As you have noticed, there are no Funko Pops behind me. The Funko Pops are secure in an area that will not get stomped upon, but they are. Ooh. I am having to build new shelves for them. Yes, I will build the shelves because the shelves that I had are too wide.
Too wide?
Mm-hmm.
Oh dear.
Well, if I'm going to have them right, because I'm going to put them right behind me. So I don't, if they jut too far out from the wall, then I'll be basically right up against myself again. But anyways.
What if you had like them on a rail that came out from what if you actually tore down the wall and built them into the wall with like lighting looking down on them?
I wouldn't tear down the wall because that's the workshop. But building a bookcase into the wall was probably a little too ambitious for me.
Oh, come on, you got this.
No, I'll just build some shelving, and then display them as they rightfully deserve to be displayed. Fair enough. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I know that if you actually tuned in to Tuesday night's broadcast, the vast majority of that broadcast was not me playing games. It was me reassembling my computer desk and then also moving stuff. And I want to thank the individuals who said hello in the chat and then actually stuck around to watch me frantically try to put shit back together. And for those of you who may not have had a chance to ask, yes, I was doing our I was playing previous editions of our show podcast form because I was actually curious because I was playing the podcast over my phone, and the webcam mic was actually picking up the sound, and I was very curious to see if I could possibly get a copyright ding on myself. I don't think I did, which kind of saddens me. It kind of makes me happy at the same time. But Sam says, I saw that. Couldn't figure out what was going on. I was moving stuff around and reassembling stuff. And then once all that was done, I decided that wasn't going to work out and I had to move shit again. So, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. But anyways, ladies and gentlemen, I believe we've reached the end of our show. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in to the Ultra Confusion Thursday Night Hangout. For myself, Charlie, and Zealeus, it's been a pleasure giving you everything on our heads, our mouths, and of course, our hearts. We'll be back next Thursday for another Ultra Confusion Thursday Night Hangout.
Remember, kids, keep on gaming in the free world.
Aim it up, brother! Oh.